almost 3 years ago, I made a video titled 10 Electronic Items Teardown, and I never made part 2 where I take apart, where I harvest components from the circuits. So let's do that video. So we have this bag full of components and stuff from that original video from 3 years ago. So we can look through that stuff. And I also have a box of other stuff that I've accumulated in the course of cleaning out my shed. So we can look through that stuff too. So that's all the stuff from the bag. Now let's get all the stuff from the box laid out. I think that's pretty good. It's a good amount of stuff. I just want to touch everything. These heat sinks, they'll definitely stay. I think I can use this exact one on my really high-powered studio lights that I'm going to be retrofitting soon, and these other ones can go to something else. I mean, they are good heat sinks, so that's good. I'm thinking something kind of like that. Have a huge server fan on the back of it. Probably run these, well, at least 50 watts a piece. I probably wouldn't be able to push these to full power, though. Here's a little motherboard to an old cell phone. Looks like a Samsung cell phone. That's kind of interesting. These are 2 old phones that I took apart back in like 2003 or so. I like these, but I mostly like this one. So in order to save space, I'll go ahead and throw that one away. And maybe someday in the future I'll throw this one away too. But I remember ripping this apart and looking at it for a long time. It was kind of cool. Part of a VCR, looks like. Converter, or I'm not actually sure. I know for a fact I can. Well, oh wait, no, I can't. Well, that's an odd connector. It's not quite that. It's that. Huh. Usually when I take this apart, there's a lot more circuitry and stuff inside here. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of like coils and inductors or whatever they are. It's neat. I think I'll keep that because that's just kind of curious. I think there's a few salvageable parts from this that I can use. I can use this 5mm barrel connector. Maybe this little potentiometer. Maybe this switch. Don't know though. Definitely this little speaker. And I also try to save this little dips package. Dip switches. Oh, they're not through hole, they're only surface mount. That'd make things more difficult. Never mind, I'll probably not get that one done. But we are now running a soldering iron off solar power, so that's kind of cool. Oh, I totally ruined it. Oh well. The only thing I really wanted was this little speaker because I know I can hook this to my Geiger counter and maybe get some noise from it. Kind of depends though. Kind of useless without like a motor controller. Oh, another piece from an old cell phone, very old cell phone where the screens were only just digit code things. That's actually it's kind of interesting to keep that one. This is from some old massager thing. It's so weird. Basically, the 60 hertz signal that's feeding into that would make that vibrate, and I guess that's to massage something. I don't know. I like to keep little DC motors. It's the little ones that are hard to power that are the ones I don't usually keep. I'm always a sucker for old calculator keys, especially their VFD screens. These are probably pretty difficult to use, but I'm still a sucker for them. They're so cool. That green resistor looks kind of cool. I think I'll save that. Likewise, this little fuse could probably be useful because it's still intact. Fuses are always good. Well, unless they're bad. These pins are pretty long on this anyway, so if I just cut these off at the base, it should be fine. I want to take that apart. That's interesting that a calculator would have a key on it. Makes sense though, because calculators can be used for very important financial stuff, so you might not want people messing with your calculator. Oh, interesting. So it's just... That's actually kind of cool. I think I shall keep that. Not sure about that though. That can go. A nice little bit of stuff found. That's kind of cool. Especially that. That's kind of... Looks kind of nifty, almost like artwork or something. I don't see anything interesting on that, but it does look pretty cool. I think I'll keep that. Tonal Radio. It is interesting there's one chip on there though. That's kind of interesting. I don't think I need anything from here. Because I'm at the point now where I actually have, like, I'm making money on YouTube. So I have a budget where I can buy resistors if I need them or whatever. Plus, I'm not that much into electronics building stuff. I'm not making like little Arduino things, so I don't need a huge supply of this stuff. Well, those two resistors look cool. Ah. That, oh, it's kind of cool. Interesting little VFD display there. But I'm not a fan of displays from like stereos and stuff like that because they're so specialized. You can't really use them for much else, I don't think. Might better keep some of these. These little buttons might be salvageable and useful for something. Weather sure is getting windy today. Oh, another one of these. I don't think I need it. Stereo amplifier. I always find these packages to be kind of interesting. I think the main thing I see that's useful on this though is this relay. I can probably put that to use. So my end goal is to hopefully be able to house my big missing link welder from like the 1940s or 30s or whatever inside the shed. And I should be able to open up enough room by getting rid of this stuff. So it makes me kind of excited. Those are some funky MOSFETs, that's for sure. Now this board has some really cool little switches on here, these dip rotary switches. And it's just kind of a neat board. This came from a printing press. I'll just keep this whole thing because I'm not going to be able to nicely get this stuff off with just the tools I have right now. Likewise, this was from a printing press also, actually the same printing press. It was just an old Heidelberg. Oh yeah, Heidelberg, made in Germany. Makes sense. Heidelberg makes some of the best printing presses around. Yeah, this is just, I think this is like just like a simple counter module or something like that for counting how many like pieces of paper went through the machine, or I'm not sure what it was. It was something kind of neat. I like this though, so I'll keep it. Oh, here we have a little circuit board from an old hard drive, probably from 1996 or so. There's nothing really to take off of here. This is all pretty much surface mount, kind of useless to me. But this looks kind of neat. With this one, we have a fuse I can use. Oh, that rhymed. Might be relays, I'm not sure. Or those are capacitors. Oh, those are capacitors. Those look pretty cool. I like the color of them, so I'll keep them. They're nice blue. Oh, big diodes. Yeah. These are pretty long. I can just cut those off. Sweet. I think I'll take this little heat sink. Oh, this actually came from like a photocopier or something like that, I think. Rico, FCU Rico, that's interesting. I don't see anything I can really use off this, but it is kind of a neat board. I might keep it. And onto this, double circuit board. Oh, that's colorful to say the least. Interesting. Oh, look at that! Even more colors! Purple and green and red. Hell yeah. I'm a sucker for blue circuit boards. I'm kind of curious to keep this little crystal right here. It's kind of interesting. Little, yeah. Little blocks of cork. Look at that. Why not? I can maybe find a use for those. Here's the old coils from an old TV I took apart back when I was like 12. This is so cool. I might be able to find a use for it, but if not, I think it looks so cool. I want to keep it, so I will. That is not supposed to be torn apart. I'm probably going to be restoring this one. I think it's probably a good idea to make that big blue box like the miscellaneous electronic stuff now. Not exactly the going to tear stuff apart bin. Always got to keep fans. Those can always be used for something. A lot of this extra wire can just go because it's pretty much shit. Because once again, I'm now in a position where if I really need wire, I could just go out and buy wire. So that's kind of cool. Well, that's kind of interesting. I guess this is meant to have multiple items plugged into it. Looks like it's blue, so it's probably from one of those stereos that I tore apart. I guess you'd have other things plugged into it. That's odd. Definitely gotta keep that. I might be able to use that and also this for my solar panel setup. I could use this to plug in 12 volts into stuff. Because it also lets you... Oh yeah, lets you also do that. I might hook that up in my solar shed. Oh, this is kind of interesting. So we have a cracked capacitor on this old thing. Oh, it's like a ceramic. Yeah, it's like a ceramic. Now we have a little VCR module. I'll definitely want to keep this belt, that's for sure. I could use that. Not much else I want to keep, although all these colorful wires are kind of cool. That'd be kind of neat. These make very good bearings for wind turbines, I've heard. I definitely have enough old camcorders to where if I actually needed anything like this, I could just rip one of those apart. So, well, these little fuses are kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of nifty. Actually, you know what? In general, these fuse holders are kind of cool too. Well, fuse. The belts in here look like they're the only thing I'd want to save, but they look like they're already dry rotted and about to break. Actually, I guess this little part right here, but solenoid or whatever it's called, but it's kind of stuck in there. I don't feel like taking that out. We're getting through this stuff pretty quickly. This might have some... Ooh. Well, I might just keep that like it is, because that's kind of neat. I think this might be able to find a application in the solar panel setup also. We got this. Looks like it's some 25 pin, but it only has 4 of the pins filled in. These little ending connectors are kind of cool, so might as well keep it. That's kind of nifty. I might be able to use that. And that little yellow capacitor is kind of calling out to me. Not that I think I'll use it, just that it looks kind of cool. Oh, that's neat. A very nice little thing. So this is some television card. I just looked it up. It's a satellite internet card. So pretty much useless to me. At least in its own functionality, but who knows what it has inside this box. Some tiny stuff. I don't see anything that'll be very useful to me though. Has HDMI on it? Man, this was fancy. Oh, this is probably for that big TV that I tore apart. I don't need that. Probably also from that TV. That is kind of a nifty heatsink. That is a neat little heatsink. It's slanted. I don't think I need these. And that one just has too many pins to easily desolder, so I'll pass on this one. Meanwhile, these little viewfinders, you can just power them off of 9 volts and display NTSC video on them. They're kind of nifty. I like them. Unfortunately, the wires tend to break because they get moved up and down like that a lot, and so it flexes the wires over years and years. Weird. I would have thought this power supply would have more power. It's just 30 watts. Strange. But, I mean, it's 5 volts at 2 amps, 24 volts at half an amp, and 15 volts at half an amp. I might be able to find a use for it. I think as a whole, it's worth more to me than its individual components. So, yeah, let's just keep that. And lastly, we have this Schumacher speed charger. I got this back in like 2012 or something like that. I've used it in a lot of my old battery restoration videos, but it's just a piece of shit. Oh, I just remembered that I actually did a video about this called How It Failed, and I guess I just kind of didn't throw it away after that. So that's interesting. But now I think it's probably a good idea just to rip this apart and... Oh, there's really nothing in here that I want. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm pretty happy with the little bits and bobs I've picked up from that. And also of all the space I've saved. So I basically saved more than a trash can's worth of space in the shed. So I've opened up that space down there where I think I can put some car batteries and maybe some other stuff for expanding the solar panel system. And then I can actually still have enough room in the blue bin to put all those old electronic stuff in that milk carton into the blue bin and put the blue bin underneath there. Plus, then I have that whole bag of stuff that's no longer in here. So, yeah, it's slowly cleaning this up. Well, I'm really happy with that because not only do I make more space, but now I don't feel like I've forgotten to make the part 2 of that video. I've kind of made that video now. And whenever people comment about that, I can just say, hey, I finally did make the sequel to that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. See ya.